Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Rookie Division for the 3rd anniversary tournament. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. And before we start, don't forget to hit the subscribe button here on the channel, be a sub. Also visit golfclashtommy.com for more Golf Clash related content. Get the ultimate tournament text guys by being a subscriber to Patreon. Link to Patreon is in the description down below. This is going to be a tough tournament, and you will hear me say that on several of the holes in there. Reason for that is because it often relies on having, better balls, better clubs, but we're trying to take ourselves around the course with as limited, limited amount of balls and, club levels as possible. But have in mind that if you do make some bad adjustment, you are going to have a problem on some of the holes here. So treat it carefully, follow the guide, follow the advice, and ask if you do have any questions. Info box on the right hand side has the elevation for the drive, for the second shot, what ball or balls I suggest you to play with, and also what club or clubs I think it's going to be key clubs in this tournament. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and let's go to hole number 1. So for hole number 1, we are going to play with a sniper or a viper here, and we do need to play with a ball that gives us side spin. In this scenario, I'm going to play with a quasar without any top or a backspin. Red ring by the rough line, changing to use a tiny bit of backspin in the end due to the tailwind that we're having now. In the end, the ring's position will be different depending on what club you're using, because the accuracy is the stat that do decide how big your rings are when you're adjusting. Half a ball of curl, and in the end we hit great left, otherwise this would have been extremely close for an hole-in-one. A sniper if you have it in level 4+, otherwise I would go with the viper, and do not forget to over adjust 10%. For hole number 2, we are going to play on the right hand side here, and the reason we are going to do that is because the second shot is going to become way easier than if we're going to have to play on the left. So maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. I would like to suggest to play with the quarterback here, due to it gives you a way easier time adjusting for this shot. And that is all from adjusting when it comes to the rings. It also gives you a decent amount of curl, because we need to use one ball of curl to the right. It also gives you a good accuracy in the end, that makes you having to, you can play great shot to the left or to the right, and you will still be safely bouncing on the fairway. Second shot, we're going to play with a sniper level 4, or we're going to play with a viper. So if you do not have a sniper level 4+, you're going to play with the viper. And here it's all about finding a spot where you feel comfortable adjusting for the pin. And in my opinion here comes a ball with side spin in that is going to be a lot of value for you. The reason for that is, if we're using no side spin here, we're going to adjust down into the bunker. And if we adjust from a higher point to a lower point, we are going to lose distance. So in that case, the side spin here to the left, helping us to prevent us from having a complete mess up with our adjustment. So make sure you use as much left spin as possible, 2 to 3 bars of backspin, and then you're gonna have a good chance here for the pin. 10% over adjustment, and this is a tough par 4 playing in Rookie. For hole number 3 here, we are going to play with the big topper, if we do have one. And the thing is here that some of you that are playing Rookie might not have a big topper, but if you do have one, you can play it with it even in level 1. And that is a must if you're going to give yourself a chance reaching the green in 2. And that's going to be extremely difficult on this very long par 3. 10% over adjustment, maximum distance. And then in the end, we need to go with overpower. So I'm using around 50% of overpower. And if you do have a lower level big topper, let's say you have in level 1, level 2 or level 3, you most likely need to go with full overpower here to get it into a nice distance. Because the problem is though, if we don't get the distance, even though we reach over, we will not be able to reach to the green. And then it's, you know, then it's difficult. So, second shot, at least play with the big dog, and we're going to play with a Titan ball as from the start to give ourselves the distance all the way through. The problem is here though, as this is a replay, you cannot see that I go into max overpower and have to max overpower this shot. And the thing that I'm looking for here, as the trees to the right is covering the way that I naturally want to play, which is besides the rough and to just roll it to green, I try to do a bounce on the fairway into the rough and then roll out. Problem is that I do hit great and just miss the rough. But there is no, you know, you don't have to be disappointed about that type of shot, as you still have a very nice and easy wedge, making yourself an eagle from distance. Have in mind, this is an extremely difficult par 5, that if you don't get the eagle here, you're not going to be alone, because there is going to be plenty of other players struggling on this hole getting that eagle. But if you want to give yourself the best possible chance, big topper, big dog, Titan ball. And I can also stretch it to those of you that has been collecting berserker balls. You might pull a berserker ball here as well, then you will be having a much more easier time. For hole number 4, we're going to play with a 15% over adjustment. And here, I'm looking first and foremost to see, is there a rough bump that we can play? Sure, there might be a rough bump, but in the end, we do have too bad level on our clubs to be able to see that as a realistic possibility. So, in the end, we're going to play with the red ring by the rough line, and we're playing this one with around 2.5 to 3 bars backspin and 4.5 bars side spin to the right. Medium distance with a 15% over adjustment, and then we're going to apply approximately half a ball of curl. And this is what I dislike with a par 3 like this. We have to go with curl, because curl is not giving us any consistency, and it's down to, you know, being a bit lucky or not lucky to get that ball in the hole. This is, in my opinion, the hardest par 3 in the tournament, probably the hardest course to get any consistency on when you approach the pin. So in the end, you play with a side spin 2 or a side spin 3 ball to give yourself an easier time and don't have to use that much curl. And then sniper level 4 plus, or you're going to play with a Viper. Hard, 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 but in the end, it's a fun course. For hole number 5, we're going to play once again a very tough par 4, especially when you play from front tee. Here you can do two ways. One, you play with a Titan ball and you play with a big topper trying to get to the top right fairway. The problem with that though is that we are going to find ourselves having a difficult time to be consistent with that type of shot, meaning that it's going to be hard to get it on fairway all the time. And then it goes towards the fact that, okay, then you either have to go and play from the rough, or you have to play like we're doing now. Playing with a navigator ball, you can play with a Titan as well to give yourself more distance. And just a regular shot with 3 to 4 bars of topspin, bouncing on the fairway over the water, rough and sand to get yourself a very nice and easy drive. And the thing that happens after the drive though is that we're going to have to play in one out of two ways, which is going to be one, it's going to be a rough bump with the Goliath. Problem with the Goliath here is that the ball guideline is very glitchy and you will have to just rely on the fact that you're having enough topspin. I'm going to try to play with somewhere around 5 to 6 bars of topspin to just get it up there, giving myself a tiny bit of chance getting the eagle, but at least it's going to be a safe birdie. So in the end, a mixture going back and forth, trying to find the spot. But with the Goliath level 4, and even, you know, having a Goliath level 6, this will be very hard due to the ball guideline. There is another way as well, which will take away the possibility of an eagle completely. That is if you play with the Saturn, using backspin just to lay it up on green. So, and doing that way takes away the possibility for an eagle. And now we do hit a bad, great right, and obviously that's not going to be helpful, and we're going to miss the pin on the right hand side big time. In the end, playing with lower level clubs here in Rookie on this type of hole is going to be extremely difficult, but if you do feel that you want to play aggressive or you have higher level clubs, you play with a big topper or another driver that gets you up to the top right, then you can play a backspin shot towards the pin and try to get the eagle there. But the Portello Cove overall for hole 4, hole 5, hole 6 is going to be extremely difficult to do anything special with. So don't be mad if you do mess it up a little bit. Hole number 6, my friends, we're going to play with a quarterback and a Titan ball. Not so much for the, like, we do not need the Titan really for the drive, but we do need it for the second shot big time. I'm going to use as much side spin to the right possible, and I'm using 1 bar of backspin. And the plan here is to get this ball as close to the top right corner possible. Because if we go short, we're going to have a major big time reaching to any point where we can get to the green in 2. 10% over adjustment, and we're going to apply half a ball of curl outside the adjustment ring to the right. Hit perfect, hit great, right, hit great, left, you will still hit the fairway, and you're gonna get yourself up to a nice distance. From here though, we are going to have a big dog, and sure, those of you playing with superior clubs could play with a guardian and go with backspin towards the green, but for those of us that do not have a guardian or just have it in a very low level, we still need to play with the big dog or any other club that gives us more than 175 yards of power. And the plan here from my end is to use the rough bump just to get it to the green area. Like either on the fringe on the back or on the green to just take my easy eagle. And the reason I do not use the backspin on the fairway above the rough, it's because I have too little backspin and cannot get the ball to stop. So I have to play for the rough bump. Now using a little bit too much topspin, but in the end we put ourselves up there for a nice and easy eagle. And that's the only thing that I'm looking for here from tee on hole number 6. It's a nice and easy eagle on this very difficult hole number 6 of the Portello Cove. For hole number 7, we're going to play with the backbone and a Marlin ball. Here we get ourselves a little breather after having a couple of very tough holes before hole number 7. And now we're going to play with a 20% over adjustment using approximately 1 bar of topspin. I would say in the end, after you see the result, 1 bar of topspin is what we do need. We also do need to use a little bit of side spin to the left here. Now I'm not using anything, only topspin. So 1 bar left side spin, 1 bar topspin. I think it's going to be the best formula for hole number 7. And in the end, as I said, 20% over adjusted. But we do want to play it from max distance. Even though we are in medium distance, we're going to adjust for maximum distance of our club. And this is going to be a decent opportunity for an hole-in-one. For hole number 8, we're going to give ourselves a very good opportunity. I would consider this one to be the best opportunity for something extra in this tournament. 3 bars of topspin and as much side spin to the right possible. Here we want to play with the quarterback to give ourselves an accuracy, a ball guideline that is good. So we make sure that we're going to hit the fairway even if we do hit great to the left or great to the right. I'm going to adjust this one maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment from the start, and then I'm using 1.5 ball of curl to the right. And the quarterback is the club with curl. If you're going to play with a different driver, make sure that you maybe reduce the topspin a little bit so you're not rolling into the rough, because we do want to gain as much distance as possible on the top right fairway there, because that's going to give us a rough bump opportunity. For those of you that might have rough bump before, know how beautiful a rough bump can be, because it takes away the secondary bounce wind effect when you do hit your shot. So in the end, I'm using 2 bars of topspin, aiming for the pin, and then it's all about hitting perfect. No elevation is going to be needed for the second shot, and this is going to be a very good opportunity for an eagle on hole number 8. So, quarterback from the start, backbone for the second shot to give yourself a good accuracy and ball guideline. Do not hit great like I did, because then you are not going to get it in the hole. For hole number 9, we're once again going to play with the quarterback and a titan. I want you to use as much backspin that you possibly can with the maximum of 4 bars. In the end, if you do have a higher level quarterback and can use more backspin, use maximum 4 bars. As much side spin to the right possible, and I'm looking for the red ring just by the rough line there to the right. 10% over adjustment with a maximum distance over adjustment. And then once we should take our shot, we are going to play with half a ball of curl outside the adjustment ring to the right. The reason we do want the curl to the right, it's because we do want to, as we had on hole number 6, want to get to the top right, as close to the top right corner on the fairway as possible, because that's going to help the second shot big time. Getting it up there, and then for the second shot, we're going to play with the wood club that gives us the most distance. So, max side spin to the right, 3 bars of top spin, and then we have to judge the overpower here. We do need to go with a decent amount of overpower. I would say maximum overpower is what I would go to. And have in mind, with a bad, great right, then you will most likely clip the rough with your second bounce. But you will have to play it like this to give yourself a chance for an eagle. I do not count with an albatross here in any form. So I'm just putting it down there, taking a wedge for the eagle, or if so, having a putt for the eagle, and then just focus on the other holes a little bit more. No elevation for the second shot, and once again, distance, distance, distance. Those of you having berserker balls could be playing with a berserker ball instead to have an easier time, and might not have to go with max overpower for the second shot. So, in the end, everybody, this is going to be a tough tournament. Probably one of the tougher one we had in the last year, especially for players playing in rookie division with, with lower clubs. It's going to be difficult, but follow the guide, follow the advice, and then you're going to take yourself around the course without any mistakes, with the possibility of drops on some of the holes. Get the updated tournament text guides by subscribing to Patreon. If you want to take the step and compete for gold, then those are the guides that you do need. Video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck in the 3rd anniversary tournament.